Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back. Do you read BTS? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Zay. Welcome back. So this week we read a Jungkook story, and it was called The Perfect 10 by _Bangtan on Wattpad.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Now, this is a story that you'll have to read because the smut, we're not even going to get into the smut, but just know it is detailed. It's so detailed. Oh my gosh.
Literally, Zay and I was talking, you can literally picture everything in your mind. Like, it's a movie.
It's a movie. Yep. It's a movie. You're like, yes, this is good.
Yes, it is so good. All right, so in the beginning of the book, we meet this girl. She doesn't have a name in the book. So this girl, and she has been single for a while, and she is talking to her friends by the name of Lisa and Jenny.
Yeah, so which I'm realizing now are probably Blackpink, yeah. I'm like,
I never pictured them as Blackpink though.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't either.
Different.
Yeah.
In my head, they were totally different.
Yeah.
So she has these friends, and they're telling her she need to get back out there. She's been single for 2 years, was it?
It was like a year and a half.
Okay, well, a year and a half. She's been single for a year and a half. She has not. And so basically, they talk her into getting, they don't talk to her. They do it for her.
Yeah.
Put her on a site called Match X?
X Match?
Mm-hmm. It's strictly just for hooking up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so they set it up for her without her really knowing. So the girl that they set the account up for is your name. Like, so whatever you choose to be, it's your world. Mm-hmm. And they set up the account for her, and they're like, girl, you need to get out there. Like, this is the app. These are the guys. Like, look at this guy. He's got 10 stars, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, she doesn't think too much of it. And then she goes, I think she goes home. It comes back later on, is like, yeah, you got a date set up. And she's like, a date on what? And they're like, we set up an account for you on this dating app, so we're gonna get you ready to go, girl. I would be so mad.
Me too.
I'd be
pissed. Because they literally told her that you need to be thinking about nothing but your orgasm.
Yeah, she's like, but I would like to, it has to have meaning. They're like, forget all that meaning. You just need to get an orgasm and you need to go on with your day. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I guess I'll go ahead and do that. Whatever. Her first date that is set up is with Jungkook. And he's got a perfect 10 stars.
And you guys can see the pictures.
Yes, oh my gosh, the pictures. You know, me and Lisa love us some good pictures in a book.
Yes.
And this one has some good pictures, some good gifts. Like, it's so good. You can see everything. You're just like, yes, this is what I needed to fill in the blanks.
Right. Exactly.
So she gets all dressed. They help her out with an outfit because she wouldn't have normally, she wears an outfit that she would have normally worn otherwise. And it's a really sexy outfit. And when they're communicating, when she does end up communicating with Jungkook, he tells her not to wear any underwear. So she's got this dress on with no drawers. Mm-hmm. So they meet up at this restaurant, and she's super nervous because she's like, he's younger than me. I don't know what this is about to be like. This is so uncomfortable, but I got to try to keep my wits about me because I don't need him looking at me crazy. Like, I want him to think I'm confident. I want him to think I'm all this in a bag of chips.
Right.
So she tries to hold herself together as best she can. Then she sees him, and she's like, holy hell, this man is gorgeous. What is he doing? The way that they describe him, I'm just like, oh my God.
You just know he looks so good.
Yes. And just how he was with her and how he like interacts and all of that, you're just, wow. Mm-hmm.
So they meet out and they go for dinner. And I guess they kind of get to know each other a little bit. Not really.
Not really.
And basically, he was like, "You don't look like you need to be here. Who talked you into doing this?" And she was like, "Who said somebody talked me into doing this? I did this." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So they sit there for a while, then they decide that it's time to exit the building.
Right.
So they go into they get into the elevator, and that's when they start really like, wasn't it like kissing and getting a little bit more intimate in the elevator? And then I guess the elevator, it takes a long time to get up to wherever
yeah,
because
they're
they
at
do
the
a lot
top.
in that elevator.
Yeah, they're at the very, very top floor, and they got to go from the bottom to the top. During that time,
they do a lot.
They do a lot.
Yes.
So they finally get to the room, and they pretty much have sex, and
good sex.
Some good sex.
Some
it sounds
good
like
sex.
Sounds like that movie, like phenomenal, just real, like, oh my gosh, groundbreaking sex, like damn. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because she has not one but several orgasms that night.
Yeah. And the thing that was so cool about Jungkook, he really was like, this is for her pleasure. Like, I want to make sure she's good before I even begin to approach a nut. So
which is different for him because he usually don't feel that way.
Yeah. And so he's like really making sure that she's taken care of. And in her mind, she's like, how is he still going? Like, he hasn't even come yet. And I've had like 3 or 4. So they have a good night, and she falls asleep. Well, he's gone when she wakes up in the morning, but he leaves her a note pretty much saying, hey, the room's paid for. I told them to let you sleep. But I hope to see you again, and here's my number.
And he stayed the night.
Right. He did stay the night. He just left early.
Which he don't do normally.
Right. Yeah. He normally like bounces and that's that. And he don't normally speak to them again after that. But he wanted to make sure he saw her again.
Yeah.
So now she goes back and tells her friends like, hey, y'all, this was lit.
Yes. This was everything.
This was everything. What else can we do? They're like, hey, you're getting hit up by other people that are 10 stars. Like, because you got a 10-star rating from Jungkook. And she's like, what? I got a 10-star rating? And they're like, yeah, girl.
And apparently it's very hard to get those 10 stars.
Right.
Especially from top people like Jungkook.
Right. So as she's getting these 10 stars, she's getting more notifications from other people some people are 10 stars and some people aren't. But the people that she's getting are Jimin and Taeyoung, who are also 10 stars. We find out later that Jimin, Jungkook, and Taeyoung are all friends.
Yep, best friends.
Best friends.
Literally.
Best friends.
Best friends.
So they're like, she's talking to them, and she's like, well, he's hitting you up. You should go out with him as well. And she's like, are you sure? Like, that's crazy. They're like, hey, girl, got a plan. We're going to make a schedule.
Right. They literally made a schedule for her.
Yeah. They're like, go ahead and abide to the schedule and you'll be set. And she's like, I don't really know about all this, but you know what? And they're like, think about the orgasm. She's like, you know what? Let's do it.
Right.
So she meets up with Jimin and at his house. And I think he tells her then that he has a roommate, but his roommate's gone. And so she's like, oh, okay, whatever. Doesn't think much of it. They end up doing their thing, and that's kind of that.
Yeah, but they do it like super fast too. Like,
yeah, it's like really, really quick.
When I was getting into it, like the foreplay part, that's when he got that phone call from his roommate saying he was on his way home and he was mad. He was like, can we make this a quickie? So they made it a quickie and it was good. And then as they were going out the door and they were in the living room, guess what? They did another quickie.
And apparently not quick enough because the roommate comes home. And the roommate is Taeyoung. So he sees her because, mind you, he has also hit her up on the app. And he's like, oh. But Jimin don't know that. So he's like, hey, this is my roommate Taeyang, and he's like, oh hey, and that's kind of like that with that scene.
Mm-hmm. But
So
I want to say, guys, if you read this book, we already know y'all thinking she got died and everything, but the author makes it clear. Don't be judging her.
yeah, don't judge her, don't slut shame.
Yes.
Women are allowed to have their own sexual prowesses as well. There's
Just
no,
like men.
just like men, there's nothing wrong with making sure that you get yours. Nothing wrong with it. And
Safely.
look, safely. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, honestly, everybody has their summer of hotness. I've had a summer of hotness, like
Mm-hmm.
have a
Me
full
too.
roster.
I mean, I'm just saying, you only live once.
You only live once, and there's a world full of beautiful people to do stuff with. So,
Oh yeah, I have told my husband before. I've had a team, and you were on it. You just happen to be the winner.
oh my gosh! Oh my
You
gosh!
just happen to be the winner, sir.
Wow, he made it to the finals.
Yes.
He won the championship. Yes. Wow.
Oh, I don't know if I should have said
Girl, that's dope. That's so dope. That's like the goal, right?
that.
Wow, I aspire.
Right. No secrets between me and my husband. So.
That's so dope. That's so dope. Maybe I need to set that up again. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I might have didn't get down like she got down, but I'm just saying ain't nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. So
She met Taeyong.
oh yes, she met Taeyang. Oh, so she goes back to tell Jenny and Lisa about the experience with Jim, and they're like, "Cool. Well, hey, there's this other guy, Taeyang. He's got tit stars." She's like, he seems like he's probably into it." And
Mm-hmm.
they're like, their persuasion was, he looks like he got a big dick. That was their persuasion.
I mean, that's what I see when I look at him.
I mean, same. So, so they were like, yeah, what's one more? You could do 2, you could do 3. She's like, all right, cool. So then they like really set up the schedule. All right, you're gonna see Jungkook on Mondays, you'll see Jimin on Thursdays, and you're gonna see Tay
on
Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
And then they listed out some rules. You don't spend more than a minute on the phone with them. You don't talk to them outside of like if you're gonna hook up, and you don't go on dates. And the last most important one was you don't catch feelings.
Yep.
So
Which
she's
is
like,
these are really good rules, by the way.
I mean,
This is what you're
seriously,
gonna do.
if all hookups could go by that, that would be like so legit. But somebody always ends up catching feelings or always
Yeah.
wants to do something extra. Then that brings the confusion and blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, yeah, I can do this. All right, let's do it. So she meets up with Taeyang. It is Saturday when they set up these rules. So she's like, all right. She hits him up and she's like, you come over to my house. He's like, bet. He comes to the house.
Mm-hmm.
The way that she described Taeyang.
Oh, it goes down.
The whole time I just was like, oh my gosh. I could
Time.
see this. I could see it.
And see, when you look, when she hooks up with them, when she sees them on the app, they have on their app what they do and do not do.
Mm-hmm.
And Tay's one thing that he did not do was kiss.
And got to note this too. He doesn't normally talk to anybody that's older than him, and homegirl is older than him.
Yes, very much.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like 28.
Yeah. So
and they're
like,
25, and then Jungkook is like 22.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they get things popping off, and he has a daddy kink. So even though she's older than him, she like calls him daddy and all that other stuff, and they get it in. And
yes,
as described, he has a big dick.
Yes, he pretty much dicks her down so good.
Right. And she's like, man, I really want to kiss him. Like, oh, I really want to do this. And he's like, look, I don't really kiss. It means a lot to me, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, I get it. But at a certain point, she was like really feeding for it.
They were into it. Like they were into it.
Mm-hmm. And so eventually they do end up kissing, and that just takes things to another level. And you're just like, oh
Yes.
no, what's
It
gonna
was his
happen?
it was his first kiss.
What she doesn't know. She doesn't know that
Mm-hmm.
just yet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was his first kiss, so you already know that might take a turn, and it does.
Yeah.
So they have that, and it's like everything's good. They end up leaving, or he ends up leaving. She continues to schedule for a little bit. She's kind of on a roll. Everything's working out, but then she's getting messages from Jungkook to like see her again because he can't stop thinking about her. She's getting multiple
Mm-hmm.
messages from Jimin, getting
But
messages from
she not
Tae.
responding.
She's not responding.
Mm-hmm.
She's only responding really to Jungkook. And
Mm-hmm.
so they end up hanging out, and they have like these really cute dates. Like,
Right, like he'll come to the house and they have movie night and
yeah.
little cute stuff like that. Because remember, he's 22.
Yeah. So right. So they're doing all this really cute stuff, and she's not really adhering to the schedule anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
her friends take notice that she's not doing what she's supposed to do, and she's like, "No, we're just friends. It's just a
We're
friendly
having
thing.
fun.
Yeah, we're having fun." As this time's going, like she's still messing with other people, and he's still messing with other people. So much so that on his account, on his Match account, he's filming himself with other girls, and
No,
she's like,
She wasn't even messing with anybody. She
"Oh,
was
that's
just
right.
messing. She was just with Jungkook only. She had cut everybody off. Like she had start feeling a certain type of way with Jungkook. They was having so much fun together, and then that's when she got the live with
That's
him
right.
recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then she was like, oh, okay, why am I feeling this way? Like,
Let
we
me go
getting it
out and
on the
get
app. I
mine."
can't get, yeah. She was like, I can't get mad. Like, let me just go on out here.
So she gets back on the app, and she's got a bunch of messages by this point, and Yoongi is
Mm-hmm.
one of the people that pops up. So she's like, "All right, cool." She
And
hits
might
up,
I add, he is looking so good.
girl, girl. I was like, "Yes,
Isn't this
Yoongi."
blonde hair, Yogi?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was looking so good. Mm.
Mm-hmm. I just these stories make me look at them in a whole different.
Yep.
I'm like, I know this is fiction. I know this is fiction, but damn.
But you can't help but to feel like, oh, is he really like that? Like, oh
Right,
my
I'm
God.
curious.
Yes.
I'm
They're not
curious.
cute. They're not cute all the time, acting cute all the time.
Right. And the way that so Yoongi's older than her by only a year,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, man, this is a man, like he knows how to treat me like a man would, like this is awesome, it's so different than the other guys, but it's also gives me what I need on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So she deals with him, and she kind of deals with him hard. Like they go out on dates and all this stuff, and they
Mm-hmm.
see each other a lot, like consistently for a while.
Right.
While they're kind of doing their dating thing, Jungkook is still hitting her up, Tae's still hitting her up, Jimin's still hitting her up, and she's not
And how
really
she's, yeah, huh? Because how she responded is all of them are saying, Nuna, I miss you when we hanging out. Oh, I can only hang out with you on Monday.
right.
I
So
can,
she's letting them know, yeah, letting them know they can only be seen on their scheduled days. They don't know about the schedule, but she's letting them know, like, look, this is your day. This is the only time you
yep, I'm
get.
only free on with Jim. Oh, I'm only free on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only free on Friday. And then, but Jungkook knows that something is not right because they're not responding like they were before when they were just hanging out, kicking it.
Yeah, because by this point, like, it'll go days whether they'll talk to without talking to each other.
Yeah.
Her friends are like, "Hey, girl, so how are things with Yoongi?" And she's like, "I mean, things are cool. Things are things." And they're like, "Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
clearly don't like this man. Like, when are you gonna admit that?" She's like, whatever do you mean?" Like, and they're like, "We could tell. Like, you don't pick up when you talk about him. Like, you're just kind of like, it is what it is." And then they
Mm-hmm.
ask about Jungkook, and she like perks up. She's like, "Oh, we talked a couple days ago, blah blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
And they're reading their messages, and they're like, "Girl, do you not see what this man is sending you?" And she's like, "What? I don't get it." That blew my mind, because I was like, "You did not see any of these signs that this man was throwing, like none of them."
I know, like none. But a lot of stories that we read are like that. I'd be like, girl, you
That's
didn't see
true.
that?
That's true. That is true.
How did you miss that?
How did you miss it? And she's like, what? And then homegirl was like, no, she needs to find out on her own. I was like, damn. We can't help her through everything. I'm like, that's facts. That's facts.
Right, but one of the friends are tougher than Lisa is tougher than Jenny. Jenny is her like close friend. They just happen to be married. And now she has like a married friendship with Lisa. But Lisa is the more like, girl, we're just gonna let you learn on your own.
She's the harsher one.
Right. But she goes by the schedule.
Yeah, she goes by the schedule. She's doing that for a while, and then Jungkook, I think, asked to take her out on a date, because at a point he was gonna tell her how he felt.
But didn't he ask her, "Are you mad at me?"
Yeah, because he had posted that video a while back on his live when he was messing with that girl, and she's like, "Why would I be mad?"
Like, but she can't help her feelings. She still do feel something with Jungkook. So he was like, he messaged her like a while back, and she just now start responding like a week later or 2 weeks later. And she was like, "Why would I be mad at you?" "Oh, I don't know. Is it because of the video?" And she was like, "No, why would I be mad at that? The only thing I'm mad at is that you did it in the bathroom. That's nasty."
Right.
And so then funny. They kept just kind of kicking it and talking it. And didn't he ask her out on a date?
He did. Yeah, he asked her out on a date, and she was like, all right. So before she goes on this date, her homegirls are like, all right, because you're not really dealing with your feelings like you should, let's do this. We're going to make a list of 10 things that is your ideal guy, and see if he matches these 10 things, and then go from there. And she's like, this is stupid, well, whatever. So she gets another outfit that she wouldn't not have worn, and she goes to meet with him, and he comes and picks her up at her house this time. Or he comes to the house that she's at with Jenny and Lisa.
He takes her out on a date, and they go to the Italian restaurant that his family owns.
So
and when they get there, they're talking and all this stuff, and he's trying to really explain his feelings to her, but she kind of acting like she don't get it.
Right. I'm like, girl, you're really playing dumb right now.
And then what happens when she asks to be she sees Taeyoung.
So
Taeyoung is their waitress.
Yeah.
And then she's asked to be excused, and she goes to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And she runs to this bathroom. She goes to this bathroom, and Taeyoung comes in the bathroom. And that's when Taeyoung is like, Nuna, because he called her Nuna too, which I think is sexy. But where you been? Have you been with him? Are y'all in a relationship? I've missed you. Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, what'd she say?
This was the app. Like, what do you think? He's like, you're on a date with him. Like, are y'all together? Are you still single? Like, what's going on? And she's like, I don't understand how that's any of your business. Like, what did you expect? Where I met you on this dating app, it's not that deep. And he's like, but it was that deep. We kissed. And she's like, well, what's the big deal? And he's like, I told you I didn't kiss, and that was my first kiss, and now you have that. And she's like, oh shit, I didn't even know. And so now she feels kind of guilty, and he's like talking all this shit. Well, he's like all pressed up against her and stuff like that. And he's
like literally had his hands in her panties
and had her up against another wall. Taeyoung in the damn wall.
And she don't. It is every story, ain't it?
Every wall is Taeyoung's. Every wall, it's his.
I'm just gonna get on the wall in here,
girl.
In my own house, I'm like, this is Taeyoung's.
This is Taeyoung's wall. This is it. So he, as he's like kind of in her face and pushing up on her, Jungkook walks in, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't know? Like, she's been messing around with me, blah blah blah." And he was like, "What do you say?" Yeah, he's like, okay, so like, why would you want to be with this? Da 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 da. Like, she don't care about you. All she cares about is doing this game. He's like,
and he called her a slut too.
He called her a slut, and she's like, then that really breaks her down, because she's like, shit. She starts feeling like trash.
Yeah.
So then she starts with the self-doubt, because she was pretty damaged from her relationship. Oh, by the way, her ex-boyfriend was Namjoon.
Yes.
So she's still damaged from that whole thing. She hasn't completely healed from it. And so that just crushes her. She's already insecure.
We got to tell the backstory of Namjoon.
Okay.
Because she basically was with Namjoon for 2 years, like in a serious relationship.
Who she met him on the app as well.
She didn't meet him on that app. She
Not
met him
that
on
app. On a dating app. Yeah.
And so she met him on a dating app. They dated for 2 years. Like, she was so in love with him. But he did not feel the same about her. She ends up telling her friend Jenny. Jenny and her ends up following him. And they find out that he is not only cheating on her with one girl, but more than one. Like,
and he took her virginity.
Right.
And she's like, wow, he really don't give a shit. Like, he really could care less.
Right.
And she pretty much says, like, if it wasn't for Jenny, like, she would probably be trying to catch him and try to get him back. So that's their history. So when Taeyoung is saying these things to her, it's just breaking her down back to how she was feeling before, that she's not worth it, and she's not, like, Jungkook is too good for her and all this other stuff. And so he gets Tae off for her, and Tae, like, leaves out, and she's pretty much telling
Jungkook told Tae, get back to work.
Get back to work. What you think you doing? You on my time, good sir. Like, what you doing? Like, damn. This is my
restaurant.
That was the biggest flex.
Right. All he could do is put his head down and get back to work.
Right. He need that check.
Right.
So Jungkook is talking to your name.
The girl,
and she's like, I don't know why you feel these things about yourself. And she's like, I've been messing with your friends. And he's like, I've been known. She's like, what? He's like, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, he was like,
what you said?
We was on a hookup site. Like, I already knew what it was.
Right. He's like, I just wanted to be with you. And she's like, what? You want to be with me? And he's like, yeah, I love you. And she's like, crickets.
And he was like, don't you feel, basically saying, I know you feel the same way. Right. She would never say anything but, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she just kept saying, I'm sorry. And he's like, so you're really trying to tell me you don't feel nothing for me? And she's like, I don't feel the same way. He's like, I don't believe you. So what are you talking about right now? And she keeps trying to kind of get away from him. And he's like, look me in the face and tell me that you don't feel the same way. And eventually she musters up her strength and she goes like, it's not the same for me. And she leaves. And he's like crushed because he really truly loves this girl, and he's never like loved anybody in his life. He's been out here doing his thing, but he's never really felt nothing for anybody. And he can't get her off his mind. He just
right. And don't he take her home? And girl, the boy loved her so much, and not only did he take her home, he took her to get something to eat on the way home because they didn't even eat at the restaurant. I was like,
took her to get some food.
Love.
Man, and let her wear his jacket. Right. Yeah.
He still fed you, girl.
She got out that car and went in the house and started crying. So her and Jenny and Lisa are like, hey girl, what's up? And she's like, he told me he loved me. And they're like, wait, what? So she's trying to deal with that. And Lisa, I think it was Lisa who was like, girl, what do you go get your head out your ass? Stop being stupid.
Lisa let her have it.
She read her.
Yes, she did.
Oh my! And then
her wife Jenny was like, Lisa, don't say that. She was like, no, she need to hear this. Now she acted crazy, and she know that boy love her, and she love him, and she gonna lose him because she putting all her faith in. What was she saying? She was basically saying that she is only thinking about Namjoon. She's in the past.
Yeah, she's hung up on the past and she's not trying to move forward. And she's like, no, she needs to hear this shit. And so eventually Lisa storms out. And Jenny's like, I mean, she does have a point. Like, you're going to lose him and it's going to be too late because somebody else is going to scoop him right on up. And so she sits there and she's like so upset and crushed about it, but she knows it's true.
Yep.
So she calls her mom, packs her bags, and goes to Busan. Because that's where she's from. So she's with her mom. First of all, her and her mom's relationship is much like me and my mom. We just be talking seriously, like we talk about stuff like that, like just how we roll.
Right.
So she's kind of talking to her about him and all of that. that's kind of it for them. But then you see a scene with Jungkook, and he's
Jungkook is sad and crying. And he basically
mm-hmm,
calls one of his parents and says the offer still on the table, which we don't know at the time. But
mm-hmm.
is the offer still on the table? Okay, I'm taking it, blah blah blah. So then he writes this letter to the girl, and he goes to find her and cannot find her, so he goes to her house. The friend says she is not here, she is in Busan with her mother. He was going to leave that letter there, but he
Yeah,
decided not to.
yeah, because I don't know if it was Jenny or at least they were like, I mean, she's in Busan, so like if you really want to talk to her, probably should go there. And he's like, all right, thanks. And then this is the cutest thing ever. They were like, hey, do you want to give her the letter? And he goes, no, everything I need to say is right here. And he points to his
It's hard.
chest. Oh
It's
my
hard.
god, it's
It was
hard.
sweet. I can
I'm
hear.
like,
I
oh,
can like see that with his little
I
bunny
could
teeth,
too.
smiling. Oh.
It was, oh, it's so cute. I was like, oh, it's right in your heart. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
So he tries to Busan, and he's like calling her. She's not answering the phone. So he's texting her. He's like, hey, where are you at? And she's like, I'm in Busan. He's like, no, like, where are you at? She's like, I'm at my mom's house. He's like, okay, again, where
Where?
are you at? Like, what's the address? He's like, answer your phone. So they talk to each other, and he's like, what's the address? So she goes, I'm gonna text it to you. And he goes, cool, I'll see you soon. She's not thinking too much of it, and she's in the bathroom. So she's in the bathroom when she goes to talk to him, and she's in there for quite a while. And there's her, I guess somebody knocks on the door, and they're like, hey, I think you should come outside. She opens the door, and there stands Jungkook.
Yeah, and she thought he was like a while away. Like he was there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, wow, that's love for real.
Right. So he tells her, he asks her, can I take you on a date? Or
He's like, I'll
whatever.
leave you alone. Just give me this one more date. We're gonna start over like we never met because we met on some really interesting circumstances. We're gonna start this
Right.
thing all over. And she's like, okay, we'll do
And
it.
then he turns around and asks her mama. He turns
That's,
around and asks her mom. Yeah, he was like, "Oh, excuse me, may I take your daughter out on a date?" And she said, "Yeah, like hurry up and take her. Keep
which,
her. I need
yeah,
grandkids." Like,
right. Which, okay, something we didn't mention. When she gets to her mom's house, her mom's like, hey girl, how you been? How you doing? You healthy? Good. When are you gonna give me some grandkids? Like, what are you,
exactly. She
where's
like,
your husband?
you're 28 now. You
Right.
need to
She's
hurry
like,
up.
Mom, I'm not even married. She's like, yeah, but I mean, like, what are you waiting on, girl? Like, you're not getting any younger. So pronto, homegirl. So yeah, so they go out on the date, and he takes her to the library, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they go to the library, and he's like, all right, sit here. And he's like, I want us to meet while you're doing your favorite thing, reading. And she's like, this is kind of cute, but all right. So he goes outside, goes to the car, and she watches him do all this. And then he comes inside, and he's like, can I sit here?
Oh, it's so cute.
It is. Oh my gosh. This story was really cute. It had some really, really cute moments.
Right. It got real smutty and then it got real fluffy.
Mm-hmm. After the author was like, I'm not doing fluff, and then like there was fluff. It was really cute.
Yeah. Okay, here go. Y'all all ask for fluff. Here it go. Now leave me alone. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was so good.
Yeah, I really like her, but we'll get to that at
Yeah.
the end.
Right.
So they have their date at the library. They introduce themselves to one another and all that, and they're kind of just talking. And that's when he tells her about what he like his family, because
Mhm.
she doesn't. She's like, every time we've gone out, he's had these hotels, we got these lavish meals, we got all this and that. Like, how does he afford this being a college student? And he tells her like, hey, both my parents are surgeons. Like, they do really well. They pay for pretty much everything. I've never had a job. Like,
Mhm.
she's just like, wow, okay, so you've never had to work for anything. He's, yeah, pretty much. So they go to that part, which is at the movie theater, the library. Then they go to the bowling alley. At the bowling alley,
Mhm.
I
I like this girl.
didn't like this girl either. I was like, girl, who are you?
Right.
Hating. So they get to the bowling alley, and they're getting ready to get their shoes and stuff, and the girl goes Jungkook, and he says Nuna, and it's another girl, and it's a girl that I guess he had hooked up with before, and she's like completely ignoring the girl that he's there with completely, like just
because she blatantly like flirting with him, but at this time she's not even saying anything about it.
So she's talking to him, how you been? Oh, I didn't know you were in town, all this other stuff. And he's like, yeah, I'm here, blah, blah, blah. And homegirl was like, excuse you, I'm here. And so she gets his shoes, and it's like, oh, are you trying to be petty? Oh, I'm guessing you're a size 11. She's like, no, I'm a size 8, girl. Give me my damn shoes. Which, like, I actually do wear a size 11. So I was like, bitch, what it?
You was feeling some type
I
of
was.
way.
I felt some type of way. So I was like, so what? So what? What of it?
It's okay.
I'm a little bit taller, so I got some big feet. Like,
right. It's okay.
Anyway.
My best friend wear the same size. It's okay.
If you hurt my feelings sometimes, man, but.
It's okay.
So they get to bowling and they make a bet. Like if he wins, he gets to mark her, which is like leave hickeys and stuff on her. And if she wins, he'll do a striptease for her.
Right.
So they're bowling and having a good time, but she bowls like crap.
And y'all already know Jungkook win because he win at everything.
Everything. He's good at everything.
In life.
Life. He just is.
In real life.
Right. In real life. He just is great.
Yeah.
So he wins. She hops up real quick. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. She goes in the bathroom and she hits the door, locks the door, and he comes knocking on the door like, hey, so I'm gonna you need to pay what you owe. She's like, oh crap. So
she all nervous and stuff like she ain't never seen him before.
Right. So
what's she all nervous for?
Right. I'm like, girl, you didn't have this man's dick all in your mouth. He's been all in your coochie. Like, it is fine. So he does that, and they end up leaving. And he's like, I want. Oh, wait. They leave. They're in the parking lot, and she like goes to. I mean, not the parking lot. They're handing back the shoes, and the girl's like trying to give her number to Jungkook. And the girl smacks it out of her hand, saying something, oh, he won't be needing that.
Yeah, this is my man.
This is my man. And he's looking like, say what now? So they walk outside, and now he's irritated. He's like, what was that about? And she's like, nothing. And he's like, why do you keep doing this? Sometimes you want me, sometimes you don't. Like, why do we keep going back and forth? She's like, it's nothing. He's like, okay, so I could go ahead and go and get her number. And she cowers and is like, yeah, I mean, go ahead. And so he turns around, and she's like, wait.
Yeah,
and
she like grab him by, like, if you guys watch K-dramas, but she grabbed him from the back. And she started crying on him. And so basically she's crying all on him, and he's basically saying, what do you want? What do you want? What is this? What do you want? Like, he already did confess his love to her. Which we didn't say. That's what happened in that restaurant bathroom, is that he told her he loved her.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what made her scared. But anyway, so basically she was doing all this crying in the parking lot, and then she finally tells him that she loves him.
It took long enough. Shit. So he's like, oh, this is awesome. They go to the hotel, they have sex. They leave and they go back to town. She tells her friends about like everything that happened, and everything is kind of just good. Yoongi, so you I don't remember if this happened before that or after when they come back, but Yoongi's like, hey, we need to talk. And she's like, yeah, I already kind of know what this is about. And he's like, we can talk in person, or I could just tell you this right now. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And she's like, no, it's fine. She's like, I get it. We should go our separate ways. And he's like, yeah.
Which they had a closeness that I didn't think they had. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know that they were that close.
Right. But, like, because they talk about they dated, like, they did that dating thing for a while where they were, like, seeing each other, but it seemed like there
was never, like, feeling him. Because I remember it's a part in the book where she's talking to her friends and she was like, "Well, how is it going?" And she's like, "Oh, it's fine." But then Lisa was like, "But it's not Jungkook." And so,
So
yeah,
he's
they had a
yeah.
closeness that I didn't understand. But go ahead.
So he tells her, I really hope that we're able to still remain friends. And she's like, yeah, no, I would love to be friends. Like, you're a great friend. And they're like, cool. And that's that.
Mm-hmm.
So now everything's going smoothly. They're having their time together. She's got off the app completely at this point. I mean, she's been off the app, but she like doesn't even entertain it. He hasn't entertained it, and they're just doing them as a couple. Well, they go to they oh wait, at the hotel, my bad. At the hotel when they're getting it in, that his mom shows up.
Mm-hmm. This is day 2 of them being at the hotel. Literally,
Yeah.
he took her from the mama house, and they ain't been back in 2 days.
Mhm. Mhm. So they go to the hotel and they're getting in. The mom shows up and she's like, "I've been trying to call you. I heard you're gonna go to med school, or you're supposed to be leaving soon. Like, when? What are you doing here?" And she kind of like, "And what are you doing with her?" And all that. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I have a month still. Like, just chill out. It's not a big deal." And so the girl's like, "Hey, my name is," and she's like, "Irrelevant. It really doesn't matter who you are. You're just here to pass the time. You're not any match for my son. Like, you just need to get this out your system right now because he's going away to do big things and you're not worthy of him." And she's like, "Excuse you."
Yeah, basically, she did slut shame her too.
Yeah, she did. And so she
But
starts
she
to
was, but she was sitting in the hotel with just his shirt on, naked in the
yeah,
bed.
her dress and stuff was on the floor. Like, she was
Ripped.
not
The dress is
ripped.
ripped on the floor.
Ripped. And so she feels some type of way, so she like pretty much goes back at the mom. And Jungkook tells her, "Hey, you need to be respectful. That's my mom." And she's like, "This bitch didn't respect me. Like, what do you
Yep.
mean?"
Right. And she go off.
So she goes off and he's just sitting there like, I mean, still my mom. So
Yeah.
she leaves. She grabs her stuff and she leaves, and
She
she's
takes
waiting.
her girl, she take off his shirt right in front of the mama, butt naked, put
Mm-hmm.
on her dirty clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and leave. And when she leaves, she looks back to see if he's following her, and he's not following her.
Mm-hmm.
So she leaves and go back to her mom's house.
Yep. So she goes back to her mom's house. She tells her all what happened, and her mom's like, that bitchy demon." And she goes, "You were thinking it." And I was like, "Yes, white chicks." That movie
Mm-hmm.
with so she's like, she feels some type of way about that, but then she goes back to. Does she go back to the area and tells Lisa and Jenny about it, or does she call them? I can't
No,
remember.
no. I think she go back and tell them when she get home, but she hasn't went there yet. She's still there with her mom, and she
Mm-hmm.
been waiting on Jungkook to call or text, and he ain't called and texted a minute. And then
Mm-hmm.
he finally does text her and basically say, "I'm pulling up."
Oh, right. So she's like, "All right, here we go. I already know what this is about to be. You drove all the way here just to break up with me." And he's like, "No, it's not like that. You don't understand." And she's like, "Well, what's it like then? Because, all I can see right now is you stuck up your mama's ass and you about to be telling me that you're through because you're about to go to school and you didn't even let me know that you was going to America."
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Just please listen to me. It's not like that." She's not letting him get no words in. And then she started just hitting him with low blows, like, "You're just a mama's boy. You don't know how to make decisions for yourself, blah, 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 blah." Because
Mm-hmm.
he's, during their conversations together and throughout the book, he tells her, like, "I don't want to go to med school. I don't want to be a surgeon. I want to sing." And she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Why don't you follow your dream?" He's like, "It's not my parents' dream." And she's like, "Okay, but what about your dream?"
Right. So
So
as she is, while she uh, while she is hitting him with the low blows, he finally just blew up and was like, "You know what? I'm sick of this. I tried to be nice. I tried to come over here and talk like adults." He said, "But I'm sick of this."
mm-hmm.
Go ahead, D was like.
And she's like, "Fine." She's like, "Fine, just say the word." And he's like, I'm that's not what I came for." And she's like, "Fine, I'll say it. We're done."
Mhm.
And that's that.
And he
So,
looking at her like she really just broke up with me. Like he was heartbroken.
right. He
So
was
I don't think he
heartbroken.
meant. I don't think he meant for like. I think he thought like he was gonna tell her, "Can we do a long distance thing or
Yeah, I don't think
whatever?"
he planned to break up with her either. I think he wanted
Right.
to just explain, but she wasn't having it. And then when she started hitting him with the low blows, he was just like, you know what? All right. So they break up, and she's upset about it. She
Mm-hmm.
tells Jenny and Lisa about the whole thing, and they're like, all right, girl, let's have a girls' night. We're gonna go out. So they get all dressed up. She goes to the club. She gets wasted, and she runs up on Yoongi. While she's with Yoongi, he's like trying to tell her, he's like, you're drunk, girl. And she's like, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. And he tells her, hey, I'm here with and that's when Namjoon walks up.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, Namjoon? And he
And she
looks at
ain't
her
seen Namjoon in forever.
forever. So Yoongi's sitting there because he's surprised, first of all, that she's like, do you know him? Do y'all know each other? And she's like, I think she tells him no, or
Yeah, she don't know. She don't know
yeah.
him, but she drunk too.
She real drunk.
Yeah.
So she's like, no, I don't know him, and something about this at this club, blah blah blah. He's like, I own this club, by the way,
Right.
and I just got married. And she goes, I feel sorry for whoever has to deal with
10
you.
seconds.
Yeah, your little 10 pumps,
Yeah.
10 pumps and a grind looking ass, like. She was going in. When people be drunk, they be letting it out, boy.
Right.
So she clowning him, and Namjoon's like, yes, we know each other very well. And Yoongi's still kind of like, I'm gonna go take her. I got her. It'll be fine. She'll be safe. So he takes her back to her house, and she's like, I want to do stuff. I want to da da da. And he's like, no, you're drunk. I want you to be a little bit more sober. And she's telling him like, no, it's fine. We can do this. And he's like, oh yeah, what do you want? And so he ties her up.
Yeah. With his belt.
With his belt.
So he ties her up, and then like they about to get it on like no other. And then Jungkook busts up in the door like, "What are you doing to her?"
Mm-hmm.
And he basically thought he was taking advantage of her, like was gonna
Mm-hmm.
rape her or something. And he stopped punching Yugi and beating him up. And she was like, "Oh my God, stop! He's not doing anything that I didn't ask him to do."
You're
And all
right.
this stuff. And then he was like, "What? You wanted to?" So she runs in the kitchen. She gets the peas to put on his eye. Makes in there screaming at Jungkook, telling Jungkook that he needed to tell him he's sorry. And he was like, "For what? Why would I tell him I'm sorry?" And she was like, "You need to start owning up to your mistakes. You don't ever own up to anything." And then basically Yugi was like, "You know what? This is a cue for me to get on out."
Right, like you got stuff to deal with. He gonna say, I don't
Right.
blame him. He's young. I was like, damn, that's
Right,
messed up.
and kiss her on the cheek, honey,
Right, and
and dip
bounced.
out. Right. And then Jungkook is like, "I can't believe you was about to do this. You was about to cheat on me." She was like, "Cheat on who? I'm a single woman."
Right.
And he was like, "No, you're not single. You would never be single. You're mine."
Mm-hmm. So they get over that hump. So it
Real
gets
quick, real quick.
real quick. It gets a little crazy. So
Oh, wait, we missed the whole part. We missed the whole part about how he got back there.
got back to where? Oh, back to where they were at.
Right. So while she was at this club, Jungkook was at his parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And his parents was basically introducing him to another girl.
Yeah, he was like, this is dumb. I don't want to be with her. But she was going to med school too. And she's like, I hope we can, as long as you're going to be there, everything's going to be fine. He's like, oh, I need some air.
Yeah, and he
And
left out. And when he left out, his daddy came out there. And daddy was like, "Who is she? I already know. Like, if she got your interest like this, like you need to be with her."
mm-hmm.
And then he was, oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Basically, he was like, "Well, how am I going to be with her? I'm going to med school." He was like, "Well, you're not really going to med school. I didn't really think you were serious about it, so I didn't even go through with it." And he was like, "You need to just go to whoever you." No, he asked her, "Do you love?" He was like, "I love her with every breath in my body. I love this woman."
Gosh.
And he was like, "Go to her, son.
Go to her.
That's when he busted in on her and Yugi.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That was such a good scene. I'm just like, oh my gosh,
I
go to
know,
her.
it's so sweet. I love the daddy.
I know. He's like, you know what I really loved about this, and it was kind of in there, and I liked how it was written. So he's like, whoever it is, go to them, and he's like, she. So he was cool with however his son was about to get down. He didn't care, and that's why I thought that was really cool, because he was like, oh, but he just want to see his son happy.
Right. Yeah, it was the mom that was more like
tripping.
But from what I understand, I watch a lot of Korean dramas and I watch a lot of other crap. A lot of Korean people are like that. It's more of the mom. Like I literally was watching 90 Day Fiance the other way, and she asked him. The host was asking the girl, did his parents like her? He was from South Korea. She from America. And he said that his dad liked her, but her mom just goes with the flow, just because she didn't really like her. So, it kind of makes sense when you read this too. You know what I mean? Like I see a lot of stuff like this. Like the mom is more overprotective and the daddy like, let them get on out there.
Right, let them do their thing. So, they talk it out. Things are fine. Everything's good. Whatever. So Jungkook's in the elevator and he sees Jimin. Him and Jimin haven't seen each other for a long time. Or no, I forgot. We missed the part, but I don't know how far it's been. But
oh yeah, when they in the hotel room, it's when they.
Well, remember, because they all hang out at a point, and they're like asking, like, "Oh, what have you been doing lately?" This is like way before this.
Yeah, we skipped that part.
I kind of forgot about it. Yeah, I forgot about it. And they're like, so they have a conversation. So this is before the whole Tae in the restaurant thing, but Jimin, Jungkook, and Taehyung all hang out, and they're all trying to talk about like their sexual conquest. And Jungkook's like, "I'm past this. This is immature. I don't want to deal with it." And so he leaves, and Tae and Jimin are sitting there, and he's like, "Should we tell him?" And Jimin's like, "Tell him what?" He's pretty much like that. We've all had sex with the girl that he's like tripping over, and Jim is like, I was not gonna say a thing.
Yeah, Tay was like, well, the pussy's good, so
right. I'm not saying that because I want to stay in it, and he was like, yeah, same, bro. And like that was that.
Right. But we forgot to mention why they was at that hotel room before his mom was even there. They was at that hotel room, and guess who he bumped into in Busan? Jimin in the hotel room.
Jimin.
So he goes to get the breakfast and he comes back, and guess who else he bumped into? Taehyung.
And Tae's got all these marks on his neck.
And he's like, what are the chances of both of them being in Busan? Because I think they live in Seoul.
Yeah, okay. That was to say, I wasn't sure where they were initially at, but yeah.
Yeah, so we missed that part. That's like a whole nother story.
Yeah. Gosh, that's a story.
So
that is a story.
Going back, where were we at? Oh, we back at when he was at the house with her. They basically decided that they were going to be together. They were just going to work everything out. He ain't going to med school. He going to get him a job and do whatever.
This was so cute because he got his job and he was just so excited.
His first little job.
He was so geek. Yeah, and he was it was a restaurant, but
like a cosplay something?
Yeah, like a cosplay restaurant where they would do different themes. Right. And so all the girls would be like lusting over him, but she would come to his job and he would be just all eyes on her.
I know. I was like, I wouldn't mind going there.
Girl, what?
And Jimin works there too.
Jimin works there too, yeah. So he's doing his job. Things are going well.
She comes to visit him. And she see all the girls want him, but of course, Jungkook is just. So all the women gonna be on him. So they in there, they working, and guess who busts through the door, crying? Taehyung busted through the door, crying, calling Jimmy all kind of names, like you lied to me, you slept with her, and slapped Jimmy across the face. Everybody looking like, what just happened?
Right, what is going on? What happened? So now people like, which side note, earlier in the story, JK says something to Jimin about, oh, are you guys together now? and Jimin and Taeyoung are like, we're not gay, and he's like, oh, okay, go back to where you're at.
But you know, he had out. We forgot to mention that other part too when he goes to the house because now he moved out of his parents' house
Oh
and he's staying
yeah,
with Jimin and Taeyoung, but he's still really
right.
staying with the girl most of the time.
With
So
yeah, yeah.
he going to the house to get clothes, and then as he going to the house to get clothes, he hear Taeyoung saying "Daddy" to Jimin.
But
And he's like, "Am I hearing this right? Am I hearing this right?" And then they hear him. And so you hear somebody say, "Oh shit!" And they like try to put on their clothes real quick, and he ran out the house real quick, got in the car, and then the girl was like, "What's wrong? What's happening?" Like he was like, "I think I just heard my best friends having sex." So they never did say anything else about this until he was back at this restaurant and Taya coming there, slap him in the face, whatever.
Yeah.
By the way, Ken is the owner of this establishment, and he is a cool boss.
Okay. Super cool.
Yeah.
It's super flirty though, because when he meets the girl, he's like real charming towards
He was
her and
like,
all
"Don't I
that.
know you?"
Right. She's like kind of like, oh, okay. I love
Right.
it.
So come to find out, he met her on the site as well, but she never
Right.
responded. He left her messages.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got a lot of messages from a lot of people.
Right. Because she was so good to herself and she was cute. Did you see the picture of
Yeah.
her lingerie when she was with Tay? It was
That white
everything.
outfit.
Yes.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
so
I'm like,
cute.
where can I order that? That is so cute. I don't got nowhere to wear it for, but
It
hey,
was so cute.
look in the mirror and be like, you got it, girl. Like,
Yes,
I
it
don't
was
know.
super cute. So I can
Yeah.
see why Tay was like, Tay didn't even let her take the lingerie off when they was messing. So,
He told her to keep that
yeah.
on.
So anyway, fast forward all the way back. So then Jimmy runs after Taeyong and they talk. Basically, they get into it. They go back to the house. He put Jimmy out the house that they split rent on. So I don't know why he just left like
Okay.
that. So
I'd be like, wait, I need your half.
right,
Now you can go.
right, and so that's when listen, Jungkook and this girl has the cutest little relationship. He was like, "I told you, I heard something."
I know. I was like, oh
Right? He
wait.
was like, "Let's go investigate. Let's go see." And she was like, "Okay, let's go." Like they were so cute
Right.
together. So anyway, so
Um,
he ended up coming to their house because he didn't have no place to go. He didn't want to go back to his parents' house because he didn't want to tell his parents that he liked men,
mm-hmm.
which he didn't even like men. He just liked Tay.
Right.
So so they end up letting him stay for a while, and which after that, not after, honey, if I was Jungkook, after when he woke her up for breakfast, and I would have
Mm-hmm.
seen that, I would have been like, "Oh no, we got to get y'all back together. You got to go."
Right. You gotta go. You're gonna have to go get Sir, because none of that.
Yep, I already know y'all history too. Trust
Mm-hmm.
or no trust.
Right. You gonna have to go, homeboy. It's been real,
Right,
but I don't play about mine.
right. He clearly didn't either.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So what happened after that?
So Jimin moves back to the house, and like things are going better with Tay and Jimin, because it was rocky. Like he really felt some type of way. You could tell like in the story that Tay like really, if he feels deeply in this story. Like
Right.
it's
Like you could like if you
yeah.
guys know Tay, you know that he is a crybaby, honey. He is D. Lazay. I don't care what you say. You see he be crying. He is so soft hearted. Bless his little heart. I love Tay, but he is a crybaby a little bit. And in this
No,
story, he was crying just like that.
girl. Yeah, he was crying in this story a
Yes, a
lot.
lot. And when Jimmy went to pack his clothes, after he had been staying there for a while, he went to like literally for all his stuff to move out. And then
Mm-hmm.
him and Jimmy and Tay got back together. But you guys just have to read that.
Yeah, because there was a lot with the whole split and the whole him moving out. Like there was a lot with that, so y'all definitely want to go read that because
Right.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna miss some good content.
Right. It's good too.
Mm-hmm.
So they end up getting back together, and I think that's when don't she ask him to move in shortly after that?
She does, yeah. So she asked him to move in because she's like, hey, you know, you don't have to like keep going back and forth. You could just, you're here all the time anyway, so why not just move in with me?
Mm-hmm.
So
She asked him to move in because he was
oh
staying
yeah.
there all the time anyway.
Yeah. So he moves in with her, and
Let's see.
I'm trying to think.
So he moves in. They kind of have all this like cute dating stuff going on. Like it's not like a lot of
Yeah.
detailed stuff. And then one day while he was he asked her to cook for him and she went in the kitchen to cook. And then he came in and he
Mm-hmm.
was like, Nuna, he was crying and she was like, what's wrong? And he was like, my mom. And so come to find out his mom was in the hospital. So they ran to the
Right.
hospital.
Made this whole dramatic ordeal. I just wanted to
Right.
add that real quick.
So
Okay, go
dramatic,
ahead.
like his mama is anyway. Made this whole dramatic thing going on. And go there, find out that his mama is 4 months pregnant with her
Right.
old self.
Right. I'm like, she made that seem like she was on her deathbed and she needed to say her last few words to him and she was just pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dang.
So yeah, she found out. They found out she was pregnant, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess they kind of said the mom and because I think we missed. Did we miss the part? Yeah, because then they go. Oh, we missed the part where they went to the house. He wanted
Oh, to the parents'
right, so we
house?
skipped that part. But guys, they went back. They
Sorry.
went back to the house. He wanted to whenever he moved in. He wanted her to
Mm-hmm.
meet his parents, and because his mama and girlfriend kind of at the hotel kind of got off on the wrong side. He
Yeah.
wanted them to go meet each other formally, and even his mom was still being
Rude.
being and
Dad was cool. Dad was cool.
go ahead.
But yeah, the dad was really cool, but the mom, she was still on one because she still felt like she was after him and wasn't any good for her son, and so she still kind of gave her a hard time,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much almost throughout the entire story until
To
like the
the
very very
very
last
end,
moment.
right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so basically she gets mad at her because she was acting like that towards her. She basically was telling her she's not good for her son and all this stuff. And
Hmm.
then she storms out the house and Jungkook fusses his mama out for the first time and start telling her
For the first
like
time.
she is my everything and I want to be with her. I don't care what you say, blah 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 blah. Her dad, this is what I like about the daddy. The daddy be saying his thing to Jungkook, but he never interrupts when they arguing. Like Jungkook will look at his
Hmm.
dad, but his daddy won't say nothing. His daddy like, like he know
Hmm.
his daddy is saying I'm on your side, but his daddy is not
Hmm.
getting in between that.
Yeah, he's not. He's just letting them have it out, and then and his thing always is kind of like, "I'll talk to your mom about it
Right,
later." Like, no, you need to talk about this now. Like, I
right,
need you to let her know while I'm here
right.
that we good. But I don't know. Maybe the daddy does something that got the mom in check. You know what I
Honey,
mean?
well,
Clearly, she
clearly
pregnant
the
again, so
daddy's
he must have
like,
been.
well, I gotta live with your mama, so we'll talk about this.
I mean, that
Yeah,
too.
so, so
That's too.
So he leaves out. That's when he goes to her and he tells her, "I love." Like it was a beautiful scene, guys. It was really a beautiful scene.
It
She was walking in the
was.
rain. If you watch
Oh my gosh.
K dramas, you understand. She was
Right, walking slowly
walking
in the rain,
slowly in the rain.
crying,
He pull
wet,
up
hair all messed
right
up.
in the car. No, go back to your family. No, I love you. I told my mom. I told
Right.
my mama about it. Get in the car. Don't make me put you in.
Right. Right.
Right.
Gosh.
So she gets in the
Such a
car.
cute
Yeah,
story.
and then all the other stuff happened that we already talked about.
Yeah. And so after a while, so there comes to be a point where the girl is like, you know what, I really do love him, I want to be with him, but I want to propose to him. And she's like, I know this is not the way that it typically goes, but I'm going to do it anyway. There's no, because the whole time throughout the story she's like, the guy's supposed to do this, the guy's supposed to do that,
Mm-hmm.
and her friends are like, girl, what's your deal? Like, you can definitely do stuff before them, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, that's why you single now. I'm like,
Right.
okay guys, that's rude, but you're not wrong. So
Right.
she's like, I'm gonna propose, but I need to get things cleared before I do
And
any of
not only
this.
that, Jungkook was acting awkward towards her too, and she didn't know
Yeah,
why.
right. She didn't know what was going on with him, but she was like, you know what, I gotta do this.
Mm-hmm.
So she schedules a meeting, kind of, with Namjoon and
Mm-hmm.
Yoongi to kind of talk things out and just to kind of let them know, like, hey, I appreciate you for this, even though X, Y, and Z happened. I'm glad that we got here because now I'm with him and I'm better for it and all this other
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So they're like, cool, enjoy your time, whatever. So then she's like, I got to meet up with his parents because I want to get their blessing. So she meets up with the parents. You already know dad's cool. Mom's still a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So, so mom is like, I mean, I just don't understand, y'all. It's so soon, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, look, girl, I don't care about none of what you got to say. I'm really here just to kind of let you know this is my
Right.
plan. I really wanted your blessing, but if you're not going to give it to me, I'm
Yeah,
doing it
like
either way.
she kept telling the mom, because the mom was still talking junk at this point.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah, and she
time.
was like, you know what? I didn't even know your son had money until this point in time. She was like, I'm telling you now, I'm not asking for your permission. I'm just asking for your blessing, but I'm doing it either way.
Either way,
Mm-hmm.
if you can't give it to me, so wait. Now you have to deal with me for life. So,
Right. And then mom was like, you know what? Stubborn, and I like you. After all
mm-hmm.
that.
After all that, just give her a hard time for no
Right. She was
reason.
like, you
Oh, it's the
stubborn.
pregnancy. I'm just
Right,
like,
it's the hormones. Don't you dare do it,
it's the
Duarte.
hormones. Don't you do it. so she's like, cool. She gets their approval and she goes out. They go to dinner. And she's like, all right, I want you to dress up. And before they could even like get out, like they're already about to get it in. And
Right.
she's like, no. We got to go to this dinner. Like, we have to go to this dinner. He's like, why can't we just stay in? Like, I don't feel like doing all that, getting dressed, all that stuff. I just want to stay in. And she tells him, no, we need to
Mm-hmm.
go. But he's still he's trying her, right? So eventually they do end up going out to the restaurant and they're eating there. It's a very nice restaurant. They're having a good time, but they're by them.
They're at the restaurant that they family
They're at the
own.
family's restaurant.
Nobody's there but
Yeah,
them.
right. And so they have the whole place to themselves and she's super
Mm-hmm.
nervous. So she's trying to figure out a way to propose to him, but not make it awkward, but she's awkward anyway because she's about to propose to him.
Mm-hmm.
So she pretty much they're trying to have this conversation and he's just looking her up and down. He's ready to take her and she's like, oh my gosh, it's not how I wanted this to happen, but I gotta do this now. So as they're kind of like messing with each other, whatever, she finally says, will you marry
Yeah,
me?
but girl, they into it. Like
They're in
he
it.
in between her
Yeah.
legs on the table at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they're in it, but she's like, this is not how I wanted to go down, but whatever. I got to do it. So she proposes to him and he kind of stops and she has the box in her hand
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, only if you'll marry me
Right.
first. And she's kind of like, what? And he also pulls out a box
Aww.
and tells her, I've been holding on to this for months. I just didn't know if it was too soon, but I've been wanting to ask you, but I didn't want it to be weird. That is,
It was so sweet.
it was so sweet. I just,
That's pretty much
these,
the end of the story. It
yeah, no, that really is all that happens.
it
But
is another part where Jimin and Taeyong do their thing again, and
mm-hmm,
end up being together. And then after that, they do like a little epilogue where basically 2 years later, she's then got pregnant and had a baby. And then
mm-hmm,
the grocery store, all that good stuff. And they babysitting that Jenny and Lisa's baby and all this
mm-hmm.
stuff. It didn't really matter, but it was still cute.
It was such a cute story. And I will say this, these stories have got me so messed up because, like, they're so cute, and they're so like the smut's really good, but then they have like these really cute, sweet, loving stories, and I'm like, only if my life could go like these stories,
Aww.
because
You know what's
they're
so
so
cute that they
sweet.
write in these stories, and I've read this more than one time. This is not a fanfic.
Right, right. I love when they have that in the dialogue. I think it's
Right.
funny. This, you know how things go in fanfics, and they're like, "Yeah, this isn't one," and the reader's like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
All right.
All
So
right, this is
how you
cute.
feel about this deal time?
I loved this story. Like me and Lisa always talk about this. She's one of our favorite authors
Mm-hmm.
because she writes so well, and it's so
Oh
detailed, and you
my
can
God.
literally visualize everything that she writes. It's very colorful.
Yes.
And so that's one of the things that I really like about her writings. We read another one of her stories before as well, and we'll mention that in a later
Woo!
episode. But
That's my favorite.
but I just love how she writes. It's so good, and then the story was just so cute, and
Right.
it wasn't an ideal situation to start off, but it's pretty much like you can find love no matter what. Like, just don't be judgy.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel
Girl,
about
you
it?
know I love this story so much. It is basically like my number two favorite story, and my number one is the writer's other story.
Mm-hmm.
Cause she is just
It's a good story.
she's just so good, y'all. Y'all have to go and read her stuff because she is so good, and all her stuff is so detailed, well written. Like Big Lizzie
Mm-hmm.
say, you can picture it, you can see it. It is just so good. Like it's perfect. I love all her writing, and it's easy to
Yeah,
read. It's easy to read too.
it's easy to
Mm-hmm.
read. It's a quick read. She has a way to include things that they actually do in their real lives. So there's a part in the story that I didn't mention, but it just kind of gives you an idea of the color of how she
Mm-hmm.
writes. There's a part in the story where Jungkook and the girl are playing Jenga, and she calls him Oppa, and he tilts his head. Like, everybody
Yep.
knows how he does that little head tilt thing. You can picture it. So
Yes.
it's like that just gives you an idea of how it's written. It includes things that you could actually see happening. So yeah,
Right.
I loved it. I love the
Right.
story.
I did too. It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And if she is listening, which I hope she is, honey, please keep writing these stories.
Keep writing.
Keep listen. Please finish the other story too. One Peter. I
Yeah,
need an ending. I need to know what's going
yeah,
on.
yeah. No, seriously, she's such a talented writer. Like,
Yes.
you, please keep writing, because this is your thing.
Yes, girl. This is
Um.
your thing. This is your career. Like
Mm-hmm.
she needs to.
No,
She needs
seriously.
to make this a career because she's so good. You know what else
Yeah,
I love
it's
about her stuff? It's spaced out. Like
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
super
It makes it easier to
right. You
read.
can just
Yeah.
fly by it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So everybody, if you guys do have Wattpad, go follow underscore Bangtane love on Wattpad. Read some of her stories. They're very interesting. They're very good, very detailed. If you like smut, you're gonna get a
Oh
ton of it.
yes.
So go check them out. And for our next story, next week we're gonna be doing an OT7 story.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. After this episode is posted, we will post we'll post what that story is and where you can find it, so you can read along with it before we get started, or check it out
Right.
later. Either way. But you can follow us on Instagram, you can follow us on Twitter, you can email us at doyoureadbts@yahoo.com. You can leave us voice messages, you can leave us a review if you really like the show. Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.
I love this
Me too.
story.
It's so good. I was so excited to read the Jungkook. You know I love my baby. Okay.
I know you do, girl. And no lie. So Lisa, when she got me on to reading fanfics, first story was Hobie,
Mhm.
but then after that I was reading like nothing but Namjoon stories, and then she was like, "No, girl, you need to go to these Jungkook stories." So I was
Yes.
like, I don't know, man."
Jungkook have you feeling all kind of way, girl.
Girl.
Make you question your bias for a little bit.
Girl, I was like, wow, I gotta find some more Namjoon because I feel like I'm betraying my love right now. Like,
I know
and then I started
exactly.
reading all the other types of stories: Jin stories, Yoongi stories, Hobie stories, Tay
Yeah,
stories,
but
Jimin
that's how it was
stories.
with
I'm like,
when I
whoo.
first got started. I read a whole lot of Yugi stories, and I was like into. I was like, oh my gosh, there's just some good ones out here. And but
Yeah,
like we said before, a lot of them are not finished. But anyway, there's a
yeah.
good bit of them out there. And I was like, oh my, I gotta find a JK story because I am on Yugi. Like he makes me feel some type of way. Make you look at him different, honey.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
Yes.
So check it out, guys. Thank you for
Thank
listening, and
you.
we will see you guys next week.
Bye.